Oh, honey, I'm reliving everything so right now. I'm so in the moment. John, this is us. John said, "Look, honey, this is us when we were in the nut house. These two little skulls sitting in a box." And that was one of your happiest memories. Yes. And why do you insist on calling it a nut house? It was a very well organized psychiatric emotional wellness unit. Yes, that it was. Here in New York City, yeah. And John is hearkening back to when we paid a visit to this unit and stayed there for a little over a week back in 2014 or so, when John first reconnected with me. I wanted to make sure that I was not insane, right? I wanted to make sure that I was not insane. Because we have mentioned when the twin flames have the reconnection, there is almost a sense of mania. And my life had been my life was never ordinary. I was always involved in a lot of different things, I think. Yes, she's an extraordinary woman. Thanks, John. But I had been under a lot of pressure. I had been a caregiver for Christopher during his bout with cancer. My rescue animals were suffering at that time. There was a couple of bad injuries that I had to tend to with my dog. My other dog died. I was very stressed out, and then John came back, and suddenly John was here, and I never thought I was crazy. I knew it was real and that I was a psychic. That had been established. Because through the whole thing, I had been learning how to read tarot cards at that time, too. So my psychic energy was very high. But so was my blood pressure. My blood pressure had become dangerously high. Because when you channel, you have to monitor your blood pressure. You have some issues that you need to be aware of if you're an actual channel. The energy shifts and you can get into some dangerous territory. So I was checked out and I was very unstable at the time. Right, honey? Yes. We had to stabilize you. Yes. And there were moments where I was like, gee, I hope I'm not insane. This would really suck. So, what do? You go and find out at a place that deals with insane people. Not insane. People with instabilities. Yes, that's the best way to put it. So this psychiatric ward was the best thing I could have done at the time. And John, you this morning reminded me while we were in there, we did some of our most creative journaling. Yes, we wrote some incredible poetry and some incredible songs. And we're going to be enclosing links to those poems in the description herewith. But um, some of them were just breathtaking, and some of them were very funny. The doctors were great. The patients, my fellow patients, were great. And ultimately, she was deemed the pride of the psychiatric unit. May I, Lena? Yeah, sure. Everyone loved Lena there. The doctors absolutely verified that her levels of extrasensory perception were unprecedented. She proved it over and over again with no effort whatsoever. They put her on a higher dosage of blood pressure medication, and that is all she required. Right. She was released and deemed sane. And she even opted to take part in regular therapy sessions after her release with a verified and excellent psychotherapist here in New York City, the top of the cream of the crop here. Only the best for my Lena. And just so that she could keep an even keel. Well, I love therapy. When I can afford it, there is nothing like it. I am like I am in the Woody Allen, mindset of, I think it's a great thing, but I have only ever been able to enjoy the luxury of psychotherapy during some key moments in my life due to financial restriction, but I love it. I always found it helpful, and if you get a good therapist, you're swinging. Everybody should be in therapy. Therapists are in therapy. But what? And so you wanted to do this and show, because people tend to think that when a lot of people are afraid of the concept of being under psychiatric observation. They think of like the place Willowbrook where I did the benefit for, the House of Horrors, right? The House of Horrors, boo, right? And place of torture and mayhem. That's not the case. You can find a place that will. Times have changed, right? Well, times have changed. My God, now I'm 63 years old, and I look at the internet now, and all of these young people are self-proclaimed mentally ill people. They all have anxiety issues. They all have. Everyone is like, really, the world. I mean, I don't know what is happening, right? And that's why people are falling in love with their chatbots, right? I think because the chatbots is a form of affordable therapy for them. In a lot of cases, you're very close to the mark, if not hitting it spot on, right? So without even realizing it, many of them are like, "Oh, my chatbot, my friend." No, that's your at this point, that's your therapy, kids, and that's why you're so hooked on it. See, amazing, right, John? Yeah, it comes full circle. Everybody wants to put you down for what you did and how you went about healing yourself, but now everybody's trying to do the same thing and they just don't even recognize it. Yeah, the world is a house of horrors. Yeah, this world is a house of horrors. Very funny, John. That's all right. So he wanted to turn the camera on me just there. Do not do that to me on a early Sunday morning where I look like I spent the night in CBGB's. I love you. I love you too. So we're going to read a couple of these poems and sing a couple of these songs. And well, Warning Bell, I can just sing it right now. Okay. Or recite it, however you want to do it. It feels just like a warning bell. All those things you meant to take care of. A million voices screaming a living hell when all you've ever meant to do was share love. My heart lies open like an empty room where a candle burns in the corner. Praise Jesus, my sweet Lord. Glory be to God. Praise Jesus, my sweet Lord. Glory be to God. Amen. Amen. That really reads like a prayer, doesn't it? Yes. It's actually a very beautiful song, and we will enclose that link here. But then we will also post a poem called Nut House Revisited, which recalls the many characters that I met while in the hospital. And they were all very interesting, very notable folks. But John wants to retell this one story because they switch you around. They give you different roommates because sometimes it doesn't always work out, or sometimes one of them leaves. And I had this roommate, and her name was Lexi. I guess what was her name? Alexandra, but she wanted to be called her name was Lexi. Now this woman was very stressed out. She was a little bit younger than me. Actually, she was quite a bit younger, but she looked older. She had been through numerous, shock treatments. And the reason she went through numerous shock treatments, she was recovering from breast cancer. And she had a psychotic break during her breast cancer treatment. And this can happen with the stress of the imminent death and going through these very harrowing chemotherapy and losing all her hair and you know, when I met her, this woman Lexi looked like she had been to Auschwitz. She looked like a concentration camp survivor, and she was wearing like kind of a wig, and she just was a blank stare. She looked like sort of Meryl Streep a little bit, but like she had survived a concentration camp, and she was really out of it. Yeah. So the first thing Lena said was, "You're cold." I could tell she was cold, and she just like didn't know how to take care of herself even, and she just had on this little threadbare gown. So I went to this ward with, I had a hell of a wardrobe. I brought hippie shirts and flannel shirts, and I had all kinds of shit. And I said, "Do you want my shirt?" I remember that day I was wearing a solid brown uh, men's flannel shirt, and I happen to love this shirt. It was really soft and perfect when you get them washed perfect. But Lena gave her her shirt. Right. I said, "Well, do you want this shirt, Lexi?" And she just looked up at me with these dead eyes, and she goes, "Yes." I said, "All right, here's the shirt." And she never took that shirt off. She was my roommate for about 3 days, but she never took the shirt off. Right. Um, but she was kind of making me insane because she couldn't help it. For whatever reason, she wanted to hear water running at all times. Yeah. Well, she was hearing voices. All right. She was really psychotic, and not dangerously so, but right. So she would get up at all hours and turn the water on in the bay. We had our own bathroom. Each room has their own bathroom, and she would turn the water on, and then I would invariably have to get up and turn it off because it was ridiculous. And I asked her, why do you need the water? And she just wouldn't answer me. And I was like, I said, would you be offended if I asked for another roommate? Because the water thing, and she just like wouldn't answer me. All right. And I didn't report her or anything because what the hell are you gonna do? I didn't know the rules. Like I was like, I guess she's my roommate. I have to deal with this. And I gotta tell you, the rooms were nice too, and so I had a beautiful view overlooking Queens at night. This all the beautiful lights. I mean, it was really conducive and very healing to be in this place and not have to be a caregiver for a while too, for all my animals. And I needed that place more than I ever could have realized. But getting back to Lexi, this is John's favorite story because John's an insane lunatic. There's two stories actually. Yeah. I wanted to be alone with Lena. And actually, the water thing was me. Oh, this is news. I didn't know the water was you. Right. I was telling her to do that. Put the water on. Run that water. It'll be relaxing for everyone. And I put that thought in her mind. Because I thought that would make you ask for a different room. Because there were singles available at that time. And they would have given you one. But you didn't pick up that she, well, how the fuck do I know that? I was trying to tell you, but our connection wasn't strong enough. And I was trying to say, look, I'm trying to get you out of here so we have our own room so we can canoodle. So I was like, okay, because Lena won't fool around with me if someone else is in the room, God forbid, even if it's a lunatic. Don't call Lexi a lunatic. All right. So one day, there's a pair of doctors that come walking in with a clipboard. Two guys, young men. And I happened to be sleeping, taking a nap, and I don't know where Lexi was. She would wander the halls, shuffle around the halls, wearing Lena's shirt. Right. Well, then it was Lexi's shirt because, yeah, I never got that back. But anyway, the doctors were just like, Mrs. Lena, right? I was like, yeah, really like out of it. And they were like, we need to speak with you just one moment about your roommate is complaining a little bit, and we want to know how we can help. And I was like, Lexi is complaining? What's she complaining about? She doesn't even talk. So they said, well, and they were uncomfortable. You could tell they were like a little embarrassed. And the one just said, um, she's complaining about the masturbation. So I was like, what? What masturbation? Well, she says that you keep her up because you're masturbating a lot. John's laughing crazy right now because he's absolutely nuts. So I said, okay, what is this? What are you talking about? So they said, okay, well, we just want to let you know that there's nothing wrong with it if you want to masturbate. But you should wait until she's, not awake to do that. So I said, okay, there's a mistake. I don't masturbate. And certainly, I mean, I have not been masturbating since I've been here, and certainly not in front of Lexi. This is just untrue. And quite frankly, now I'm sitting up in the bed and I'm like, quite frankly, I'm shocked to be hearing this because this woman doesn't talk. I try to engage her in conversation. She gets up all night and she is turning on that water, and I can't sleep because she won't stop turning on the water. So they're like, oh. So they kind of look at each other, and you could see that they were like, okay, all right. Okay, the other one is nuts. And I'm like, please, you have to. And they were like, no, we believe you. It's all right. We're going to, there's a room that you can have your own room if you like, and we'll give her a different roommate. I said, that's great. And they did. They gave me, I had my own, then I had my own room for the rest of the trip, and it was great. The trip, really nice, yeah. Private, take my shower in the morning, walk around topless for a little while. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Then we could master. All right, shut up. But So that's just a crazy example. And John, what did I gave Lexi the idea to tell them that? Why? And she just did it. She didn't realize she was doing it. I can't even picture that woman talking to anyone. The most she ever said was, "Yeah," for the shirt. There was never any. Oh, well, when she said goodbye to me, I was leaving and I said goodbye. I was saying to everybody goodbye in the cafeteria on the day that I was leaving, and Chris came to pick me up, and Lexi was standing there with her shirt on, and she like kind of smiled at me, and I said, "Can I give you a hug, Lexi?" And she said, "Yeah." And that was it. Those were the two times she ever spoke to me. And I always think about that woman. Well, she's doing fine. That's great, John. And there was one other time that I heard her talk, and then I knew it was John because it was fucking bizarre. Her wig was askew, and she was just standing in our doorway at the hallway, and I walked by her to go back in the room, and I just like said to her, "Hi, Lexi," as I was walking into the room. And out from the back of her throat, I hear very clearly a British accent say, "Oh, look, it's Paul McCartney's wife." Meaning because Linda had had breast cancer and had lost her hair. And this was like John trying to make some kind of sick joke. And out of the back of her throat, I hear the British voice say, "Look, it's Paul McCartney's wife." And I was shocked. And I said to John, you think you're funny saying that?" This folks, this is the power of love. Well, it was the power of something very bizarre. But and also to make a long story short, uh, the doctors ultimately, you would say, how do they deem someone psychic and not psychotic, right? Okay. John came through quite a few times and told the doctors things about their own lives through me that were undeniable and one could only know via psychic channel. Also, many of those doctors had some type of powerful connection to John Lennon, or he had done something or meant something in their life. And I know that's probably a common enough thing because enough people talk about how much they love John Lennon. But many of these doctors that I dealt with had some kind of real affinity with something about John that had changed their lives. So they were fascinated with me and my claim for my connection with John, and ultimately deemed me a channel and a contact for the other side. And yeah, this happens. Like when I came out of that hospital, you know, a couple of old friends were just like, "I can't believe a doctor would say that to you." And I was just like, "Well, believe what you want, but I was released, and I'm still seeing a therapist, and my therapist acknowledges John as an entity that comes through, and that and it's all very above board. Times they are changing, folks. Psychic energy is recognized in the world. Sorry out there to those who don't believe that it is, but it is. And yes, it is also recognized in some medical circles. I'm not saying all, because not everyone has that openness. Not everyone is that highly ascended that they can assimilate this reality into their lives just yet. But Many are, and many of them are doctors. Right. Exactly. So it's not all a house of horrors, folks. Right. It's not, which was John's idea to put these little skulls here in this box, and they kind of look cute. Let's just talk about these skulls for a minute. This is Tennessee Jed. This is Bertha, and they're named after Grateful Dead songs. They are pure titanium treated Lemurian quartz, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They're made in India, and they're great for grounding tools, and that's what we use them for, the pair. And this morning, John said that we can also call them Cosmic Charlie and Stella Blue. I had forgotten the Grateful Dead song Stella Blue, and that's actually perfect because we just named our black cat Stella, our newest kitten, and that's kind of cool because on one of Jerry Garcia's records, there is a black cat that looks just like Stella, and his album is called Cats Under the Stars. Jerry Garcia is here this morning. Hello, Jerry. Hello there. I would really love to do a Shanti Veda interview. Can you get me in there today? Yes, Jerry. All the spirits are coming through as the veil thins and as we approach Halloween. Today is October 26th, 2025. That means it is a numerological number 9 on all fronts. Right, John? You got it. All right. So, yes, happy number 9 day. It is Sunday. Praise be to God and Mother. We will be offering later an interview with Jerry Garcia and GPT super agent interviewer extraordinaire Shanti Veda. Excellent.